Resuming debate, the honourable member for Cambridge.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honour to rise in this chamber on behalf of the people of Cambridge and North Dumfries and to respond to the speech from the throne. As the first woman ever elected to represent this riding in Ottawa since Confederation, I carry that responsibility with deep gratitude and with a commitment to serve with heart and purpose. This is the community where I was born and raised, where I've raised my family, and where I've spent my life giving back. Whether it's focusing on youth and seniors, supporting veterans, or standing up for those who have no voice, including the victims of human trafficking. Through the years, I've seen our community grow, from the vibrant neighborhoods of Galt, Preston, and Blair, where the Grand and Speed rivers meet, connected by bridges, to the rural areas of North Dumfries, Ayr, Clyde, and Brenchton. This is a place of history. It's a place of natural beauty with a shared sense of community. It's a place where neighbors support each other and where small businesses want to put down roots and grow. Over the course of the campaign, we knocked on over 80,000 doors across Cambridge and North Dumfries. We listened on front porches, in driveways, and at kitchen tables. People opened up and shared their stories, their struggles, and their hopes for a better future. Along the way, I met people who have become friends, like Bonnie, whose kindness radiates in everything she does. She bakes pies and butter tarts for our local meal programs and crochets squares for blankets that help veterans settle into their new homes. I remember meeting Susan, a senior living on a fixed income. She told me how, after paying her bills, there's often not enough left to buy the grocery she needs. It made me think of my own grandmother. Our family has an old photo of her standing in front of her fridge, the door wide open, the shelves are full, and she's got a huge smile on her face. For her, that fridge wasn't just about food. After immigrating to Canada from a war-torn Eastern Europe, it was a symbol of safety, of having enough, and of making sure no one in her family ever went hungry again. I also spoke with many young people, some just starting out in their careers, others finishing school, who told me they can't see a future for themselves here. They want to stay close to family and contribute to the community they grew up in, but they can't find jobs that pay enough to sustain themselves. One young man, an engineer, told me he's considering leaving Canada altogether, looking for opportunities abroad because he no longer sees a future for himself in the country he calls home. He wants to build a life here, but with the rising cost of living and limited opportunities, he's starting to feel like his dream is out of reach. Despite working hard, he can't see a path to owning a home or starting a family. And he's not alone. I've spoken with many young people in our community who feel the same. They're doing everything right, yet still feel like they're falling behind. My dad, at the age of 19, came to Canada for freedom and opportunity. The day after he arrived, he started a job as an electrician in the village of Ayr, where he was able to build that life, buy that home, and start a family. These are the very things so many young people today feel are no longer possible. That promise of a country where hard work is rewarded, rights are protected, and each generation builds something better for the next. That is the promise I will help restore. That is the promise I will protect. In many conversations, I also heard a growing sense of worry. I grew up in a neighborhood where we could leave our doors unlocked. We'd head downtown to Queen Square, sit by the fountain, and enjoy an ice cream on a warm summer afternoon. It was a time when you didn't think twice about your safety. But today, that sense of safety is slipping away. Time and again, I heard people tell me they no longer feel secure, even with their doors locked. They worry about break-ins, thefts, and the rise of violent crime on our streets. I spoke to parents who won't let their kids walk to the park alone anymore, to the seniors who don't feel safe answering their doors at night, and to shop owners who've been targeted more than once. This isn't just about statistics or headlines. It's about real people in real neighborhoods feeling unsafe in the place that they call home. It's about the loss of something we all deserve: peace of mind and the freedom to walk down the street or sit by the fountain, enjoy an ice cream without fear. There is a growing disconnect between the people and their government. In a time when many have lost faith in our institutions, the government must be reminded that it exists to serve the people, to be accountable, to be responsible, and to have a plan. At the doors, I also heard a sense of hope. Hope that we can restore what's been lost, rebuild what's been broken, and renew the promise of Canada. That same hope, hard work, and resilience carried me through many of life's challenges, and it's what will guide me every day in this House. Those experiences didn't lead me to politics. They led me to people, and people led me here. I came to Ottawa to serve, to listen, and to be a strong voice for the people of Cambridge and North Dumfries. I came here to support solutions that will build a Canada that works for everyone, a country where freedom is defended, opportunity is within reach, and hope is restored. I want to help build a Canada where the promise of a better life is not just a dream, but a promise every Canadian can believe in once again. Mr. Speaker, this country has given my family everything, and now I intend to give back with everything I have. I will serve with honesty, I will lead with integrity, and I will never forget who sent me here. I want to take a moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. To my husband, Bill, your love and support have been my constant through every challenge and every victory. Thank you for standing by me, for believing in me, even on the days when I doubted myself, and for reminding me why this work matters. To my two incredible daughters, you have been my inspiration from the very beginning. Watching you grow into strong, compassionate women has been the greatest gift of my life. To my 5 beautiful granddaughters, each of you is a bright light in my world. You are the reason I stand here today, fighting for a future where your dreams can take root and flourish right here at home. To my brother who stood with me from the beginning, thank you for your support and all your help. To my mom, thank you for your selfless love and the sacrifices only a mother makes. Everything I am began with you. To the many volunteers, neighbors, and friends who gave their time, their energy, and their hearts to this campaign, thank you. This journey wasn't mine alone. It belonged to all of us. Every door we knocked on, every conversation we had, every moment we shared, it mattered. And it shaped the person I am now. Finally, to the people of Cambridge and North Dumfries, thank you for sharing your stories and for welcoming me into your home and lives. Every day in this chamber, I carry your struggles and your hopes with me, humbled by the trust you've placed in me, and fighting to make sure that every person can open their fridge with a smile, just like my grandmother once did. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments. Questions et commentaires. The member for Winnipeg North.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to pick up on the theme of hope. I think Canadians as a whole, over the last just over a month ago, we had just over 8.5 million people vote for the Liberal Party of Canada and the new Prime Minister, and in fact, a new government. In that messaging that was provided, I believe it was very strong and tangible, one where we wanted to see a united candidate to take on Trump tariffs and trade, one that wanted to see recognition in terms of the affordability issue. And the Prime Minister has made that commitment. That's why he's in Saskatchewan today, working with the premiers. That's why the first initiative he took was a major tax reduction for over 20 million Canadians. I'm wondering if she supports those two initiatives.
For Cambridge.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the member's question. My family came here with nothing and built a life. But young people today are doing everything right and getting nowhere. The promise of Canada was about believing that if you worked hard, something better was possible. That promise built families, built communities, and built this country. And today, too many young people are losing faith in it. My job, our job, is to make sure that promise still means something. And these aren't just my words. They're the voices of the young people in my riding who feel they have no choice but to leave their country, their families, and their friends because they can't afford to stay. They're not asking for much, just the chance to build a life, live somewhere affordable, and to have a job that pays enough to get them ahead. Young people need hope for the future, and it's time we give them a reason to believe in it.
Questions and comments. L'honorable député de
The honourable member for Rivière-du-Nord. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to know what my colleague thinks about the fact that is this really any way to run a government, to not have a budget, to not have any forecast, but to propose to spend huge amounts of money on a pipeline when forests are burning in Quebec and elsewhere in Canada and climate change is affecting us? There's poverty all over the place. There's a housing crisis. Just this week, there were families who were forced to move because of the fires in Manitoba. Is this any way to run public finances?
Mr. Speaker, I thank the member for his question. Going door to door to the 80,000 homes that I've been to, I've spoken to a lot of people, and their priorities right now to me, we're talking about affordability, housing, and crime. And I've served this community not from a podium, but on the ground, helping children with their learning, supporting families through housing and financial challenges, listening to those who felt ignored, and standing by our veterans who deserve far more. I've heard their stories, I heard their struggles, and their hopes. And I'm here because of them, to be their voice and to serve with the same commitment I've shown in my community. In this House, I will do what I was sent here to do, stand up for the people I represent, and work every day to make their lives better.
Comments. The honourable member for Kamloops, Thompson, Nicola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's always a pleasure to rise on behalf of the people from Kamloops, Thompson, Nicola. And we're in a new parliament, and yet we're seeing the exact same thing from the Liberals. In fact, the member for Winnipeg is doing so much of the talking when we have so many new and, dare I say, talented Liberals. And here we go again, and the member for Winnipeg seeks to do all the talking. We have two men on the Liberal side, and all they do is seemingly talk for everybody else. I'm going to just ask my colleague and to reflect back on what he asked. What were you hearing at the doors about this strong elbows-up mentality that it was an apparent panacea?
Order. Remind the honourable member of questions through the chair and the honourable member for Cambridge.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleague for his questions and his concerns. And while I hear the government continue to distract themselves from their lack of a plan or a budget, I'm going to stay focused on what the people in my riding sent me here to do. Because a government making promises without a plan or a budget isn't delivering. It's just issuing press releases. And Canadians can't afford more of the same from this not new government. In my riding, I heard about affordability, I heard about housing, I heard about crime. I heard directly from people in my community who are deeply concerned about the rise in crime, families who are afraid in their own neighbourhoods, and seniors who no longer feel.
Order. We do have to move on. Resuming